Hey Internet, it's RJ, welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. So on the docket for today, we have Wells Fargo's travel partners. They are finally live. We'll just do a quick update on that. We have global entry in the trusted traveler programs with some price hikes as well. I guess inflation hits everywhere. And we'll close with a few Chase stories. We have a new Chase travel program of sorts, and then Pay Yourself Back is still hanging around. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, more of a quick hit reminder than anything else, we spent a few dedicated episodes on Sunday now talking about Wells Fargo, but in addition to, of course, the launch of the Autograph Journey, which we did cover the promotional offer on Run on the Bank that has a $600, 60,000 point promo offer if you're interested. They also have had transfer partners, and those are now live. So if you go into your account again for your new Autograph Journey, hopefully it's showing up to your doorstep, and you've got the bonus in hand, or going to get it. And of course, your regular autograph cards as well work for this too. That's the one that I have. So again, reminder, you got Avianca Life Miles, British Airways, Iberia, Aer Lingus, Air France, KLM, Flying Blue, and then Choice Privileges is probably the winner there because it's a 1-to-2 transfer ratio. So one Wells Fargo point. I don't know if they've given their points fundsy names yet, like ultimate reward points or thank you points, but whatever. One Wells Fargo point would equal 2 Choice points because they've got the partnership. So that's probably your best one. Again, no one was really super pumped about the transfer partners, but as we said, let's give it a year, see what they do. You got to start somewhere. Some folks in the comments of the doctor's post who had this reminder said they were having issues linking their accounts to get started. It was a few days ago, so hopefully they've sorted it out, but definitely keep an eye on it. Let us know your experience and how you plan to use these. And of course, if you got the Autograph Journey card, you've already heard my denial story, so we won't rehash it. But with that, if you are getting some points to travel or a new shiny travel card, well then you probably don't want to wait in the security line, and the Trusted Traveler programs are just the thing for you. Now, Trusted Traveler programs, that's TSA Pre, which is probably the most popular. Then there's Global Entry, there's Nexus, and Sentry. We've done videos on all of these. We have a Trusted Traveler section on the main channel page. But for the longest time, Global Entry was $100. Well, the price is going up of all the Trusted Traveler programs. So there has been a press release coming out here, and you can kind of see it. But it's U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. So Global Entry is going up to $120 from $100. Now the other thing here is that Nexus is also going up to $120, but it was only like $50, $30 or $50 I want to say. I think it was $50 to do Nexus, and I think Sentry is going up as well to $120. Now, these new prices go into effect October 1st, so, if you're going to renew, of course, I've done a full video on renewing my Global Entry. It's basically a brand new application. You answer all the same questions, except you may be able to skip the interview. I got lucky and was able to. So again, if you got to renew or something before then, if you renew before then, you'll lock in, I believe, the current pricing, which is good because, again, most of us haven't. I don't think I've ever actually paid for it myself. It's really, as we know, through the credit card coupons, and it's more of a credit because it is the only one that's worth it. So I would imagine the credit cards, once we get closer to the date, they will all just up it to cover $120. Now, the government, normally, I'm a fan of bashing government things, and I almost was with this one because the press release says, hey, we haven't increased the price in 15 years. It now costs us more money to process the applications. It's basically online, so I don't know how the price could have gone up, but fine, except for the part where you move Nexus up to match Global Entry, because that was one of I'm going to call it a loophole of sorts, because I'm pretty sure if you got Nexus, you got everything. But Nexus was the one, I think, that crossed into the Canadian border. So you went to one of here in Michigan, if you went to the Ambassador Bridge or the tunnel to get into Canada, you could apply for Nexus, and that would still give you TSA Free and Global Entry for $50. So I was with the price increase. Okay, 15 years, sure, it's been a good run. But now they've also brought another one up, $50, just to match it, so you can't really do the whole loophole thing anymore. I'm sure someone will know the answer to this, and we can move on. I'm not sure why it's 3 different programs and why it just can't be one program. I don't understand what the difference is really. I know some have to do with, the Canadians approving it, Mexicans approving because you're going across land borders, but it seems like we could have just made it one program for $120. Also, would have been nice if they rolled in Clear. That was talked about with TSA Pre, but that is a separate thing. So Nothing to do with that. So anyways, I think the credit cards will match, and all will be well with us because the price increase won't really matter to us as long as they don't try to use it as something to hike annual fees or whatever. But anyways, moving right along, if you're not, once you get past your security line, well, you probably need a place to stay like a hotel, and Chase has you covered, or they're hoping they have you covered at least. We've talked about this before, but it is now officially live. It's called the Edit by Chase Travel. It seems like it's their answer to Fine Hotels and Resorts, or whatever the other one is that American Express has. They have those FHR, and then they have like the Collection is the two that American Express has. Everyone's starting to get their own. I know Capital One has theirs as well, but as someone who doesn't necessarily even like the Platinum Card or the coupon game, I do think FHR is like worth that credit, is easy to use, and the benefits are decent. So, of course, you've got the travel, or the edit, on screen. But again, just a reminder, the perks that you would get if you went through here. Daily breakfast for two, $100 property credit, which would include dining, spa, or other activities at the property, which seems fine. Room upgrade at check-in, of course, if available. Early check-in or late check-out, if available. And complimentary Wi-Fi, which Wi-Fi at this point just kind of feels like it needs to be included no matter what. And the good stuff, not like the terrible Wi-Fi, so you can watch all these videos in your rooms. Overall, I mean, as you would imagine, the site looks clean. I mean, the big differentiator here will be what are the bookings come out to be, booking directly versus booking, through the edit to get these values. I know I did one redemption once through Amex portal through an FHR hotel. And of course, you get the benefits, but like the point redemption was really bad. I think it was like 0.8, 0.6 cents. This was like a few years ago. I just really didn't want to pay cash. So what we see, if you wanted to use points through this, would we see as bad redemptions, or at least would the cash price be similar? Now, Quinn, the cards that this works with, interestingly enough, of course, the Sapphire Reserve and the JP Morgan Reserve, and then they did list United cards. They didn't specify any United cards specifically, but they did list the United cards on the list. So if you've got any of those cards, gives you access to the edit. I'll let some of you travel folks out there test this one out. Again, if it doesn't cost you any money, I think it's fine. It is right now, it doesn't cost any money, so it's a nice addition. But again, I think this is Chase trying to play a little bit of catch up of sorts, with Capital One and of course American Express, who are probably the leaders in travel right now, as odd as it may sound to throw Capital One in there. So anyways, there you go. You have the edit. Now, if you're not really a fan of using your points for travel, whether it be good or bad redemptions, well, then Chase has a feature that's apparently living on. It seems like I pronounce this dead and forgotten about, and then they come back and do something with it. So Chase Pay Yourself Back. For those of you to remember, it is Chase's feature for specific cards. Mainly this time we were talking about the Sapphire Reserve. It allows you to use your ultimate reward points on specific category purchases to essentially pay yourself back at an elevated rate. When it first came out, it was 1.5x. Now it's down to 1.25. So they have new or updated categories. So let's take a look at these. And they're interesting. You can still do the annual fee at 1.25x. Gas stations, wholesale clubs, and then pet supply stores as well. That's a random one, but hey, it works. Scooby-Doo. And then these are going to be extended through June 30th, so they generally go quarter to quarter. Aeroplan, I believe, is also extended as well, unrelated to this. So, my opinion on this is our last story is that I've been a fan of Pay Yourself Back. Of course, I was a bigger fan of it when it came out during the pandemic, and it was at 1.5x, of course, matching what you would get through the travel portal, because I actually used the points to pay for the annual fee when I had the Sapphire Reserve. And it worked out great because it's so easy to earn ultimate reward points, is how many freedoms you can get and things like that. I think it worked out pretty well, and I do think this gives Chase something that other card issuers don't have. In the last story, we talked about playing catch up with American Express Travel and even Capital One. But as you know, with American Express, it's travel or it's nothing. Yes, you can cash the points out. Yes, you can get 1 cent a point, but you need like a business account and a business platinum card. It's a lot to do. So this does let Chase, play travel, and then it also lets them play cash back. So I don't know that this alone makes a Sapphire Reserve worth it, but if you were into maybe the Sapphire Reserve for the benefits, the insurances, the Priority Pass, the Chase Lounges, the Edit perhaps, but you still want to cash out points, well, you have an option. Now, of course, again, you have to use your card to make the purchase, and you're not getting the best multiplier when you do that, so it's kind of like one of those, you kind of got to sit down and strategize it a little bit, because you're going to have to make a conscious effort to use your card. So, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think Chase should, use this more because of all the reasons we just talked about. This was kind of like a silent update. I think someone just kind of found it in their Sapphire Reserve account and told Doc as most things happen, and he posted it. So it is also interesting they don't really make a big scene about it. Granted, I have a Sapphire Preferred, but not a Reserve, so I didn't really see any announcements on it. So I do think this is a feature Chase should still stand behind, but I've been saying that every quarter since we started talking about this thing, so I don't think it's going to happen. But I will end on this. Let me know what you think of the Sapphire Reserve pay yourself back deal. Is there something to be had here, a competitive advantage, perhaps a feature that you would consider using? And, even if you weren't a hardcore travel person, maybe like a medium tier travel person. Love to get your thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, that's been the news for this week. So, of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel because we're posting content just like this every single week. And, of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And, of course, every single day over on ProfitableContent.com. The channel's blog, always linked down below for you. And on the homepage, we post news stories just like this. We have plenty of bank promotions, and we have credit cards. Wouldn't you know it, we've got a Sapphire Reserve. So you've just been really moved here by the Edit or Pay Yourself Back. Well, you know where you can pick up your next Sapphire Reserve at. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you very soon this week.